So, how horrific is Eddie? On a scale of 1 to 6, number 1, Weekend Warrior, number 6, Fear of the Dark, where does this Eddie lie on that scale? And let's go ahead and jump into the cover right now. First off, Iron Maiden, big red letters, just like it's on my shirt. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can see the shirt. Big red letters across the top, stands out with the white outline on the letters. Really like that. Looks amazing. The number of the beast looks like it's actually written in blood. Like whoever, maybe someone killed somebody and then they took their hand and wrote their blood on the wall. It's written kind of like that, the number of the beast. That stands out to you. That's very horrific looking. Background is some blacks and some grays and some whites. The ground, this is obviously hell that they're in, it looks like to me. The ground is covered in flames and some kind of charred ground. Looks like there's grass in there that's black. I think there's somebody there's somebody right below the devil. It looks like another Eddie. So this looks like Eddie is controlling the devil and the devil is controlling Eddie. That's a wild little concept right there. Kind of saying that they're both just super evil, I guess. But looking a little deeper into this, the devil itself is bright red. The only thing that's not red on the devil is white eyeballs with two, I guess, the white irises and two red eyeballs in there. So that's even red. The staff it's holding, the pitchfork, is like a bronze copper kind of color. That stands out. Eddie is kind of the traditional looking Eddie. He's got a t-shirt. He's got jeans on, normal looking teeth. He's got some cool looking like bonfires in his eyeballs, like flames as his eyeballs. That's really cool. Really looks good inside the black. Got a white head full of long hair. Got flames, in one hand. Got the puppet hand come down across the devil. He's controlling the devil. But then you look closer, like, nope, the devil's controlling him. So it's just a very dark, ominous, evil-looking cover that I'm sure scared a lot of people back in the satanic panic, the Tipper Gore heyday of the 1980s, and well earned. I love album covers that just piss some people off. So I'm like, you know what? Deal with it. This stuff is awesome. I love it. But anyways, this Eddie, I'm gonna give this Eddie a 4. Eddie itself is probably more of a 3, but you got Eddie controlling the devil, for goodness sake. So you know what? I'm bumping it up a notch to a 4. So on a scale of 1 to 6, this Eddie is dark, evil, and menacing, and it's definitely heading more towards the Fear of the Dark side of things than the Weekend Warrior side of things. All right, next up, album information. But before I get into it, let me say thanks for tuning into the Disembodied Screams podcast. Those returning, thank you. Those new to this podcast, welcome. Now let's get into the album information from Wikipedia. The Number of the Beast is the third album by Iron Maiden, released on the 22nd of March 1982 in the U.S., the year I turned 10, by Harvest and Capitol Records, and on the 29th of March 1982 in the U.K. by EMI Records. The album was the first to feature vocalist Bruce Dickinson, and their last with drummer Clive Burr. And I will say, as I was listening to this album, that Clive Burr killing it on drums on this one. Sometimes I forget to listen for certain things when I'm listening to an album. And I was out listening to it today, and I was like, Clive Burr was killing the drums on this one, man. He was just lots of fills and lots of things going on. He was just really, really standout on this one. I mean, Nico is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love Nico McBrain, but listen to Clive's drumming on this. And just sometimes just listen to this album and just put that in your head. I'm going to listen to just isolate myself for the drums. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Goes on to say music press reports told stories. Okay, this was kind of cool. Music press reports told stories of unexplained phenomena occurring during the sessions at Battery Studios, such as lights turning on and off on their own accord and the recording gear mysteriously breaking down. These odd occurrences climax with Birch being involved in a car accident with a minibus transporting a group of nuns, after which he was presented with a repair bill of 666 pounds. That's some wild stuff. It's Wikipedia. Is this folklore? Is this legend? Is this truth? I've heard some of these stories before, so I think it's true. If you truly know if it's true or just urban legend, let me know in the comments, Spotify or YouTube. All right, moving on to some professional ratings. I thought this was cool. I did this one other time with another episode, and I was like, I'm going to do this again because I like this. All Music, 5 stars out of 5. Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal, 8 out of 10. Pitchfork, 9.0 out of 10. Kind of appropriate to be featured in Pitchfork. Rolling Stones, come on, Rolling Stones, 3.5 out of 5. No, is it 3.5 out of 5? Yeah, it is 3.5 out of 5 because it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, on the 4-star, there's a half. So they give it 3.5 out of 5. Come on, Rolling Stones. Come on. This thing is a 4 to 5 stars, not a 5-star banger. Maybe a 6-star banger. Maybe a 6 star banger. All right, Sounds. There we go, Sounds. You got it right. 5 stars. Sputnik Music, 4 stars and a half out of 5. And the Daily Vault, A minus. So Rolling Stones, get your act together. All right, track listing goes like this. The Number of the Beast, Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue. The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, Gangland, poor Gangland, poor Gangland, and Hallowed Be Thy Name, number 8 on that album. And the 1998 remaster includes Total Eclipse, which fits the album, I think personally better. But I'm not going to hate on Gangland because it gets hate on a lot. But I really do like Gangland. It's an amazing song. Another quick question. Gangland, Total Eclipse. Which do you think would be better on this album? Let me know that too. All right. Moving on to singles. Run to the Hills, released the 12th of February 1982. The Number of the Beast, 26th of April 1982. And this little blurb from Wikipedia goes on to say, The Number of the Beast was met with critical and commercial success and became the band's first album to top the UK albums chart and reached the number 40 of the US Billboard 200 chart. The album produced the singles Run to the Hills and The Number of the Beast, the former of which became the band's first top 10 UK single. The album was also controversial, particularly in the United States due to the religious references in its artwork and the title track's lyrics. Since the release of The Number of the Beast has become a nickname for Iron Maiden. I didn't know that. I've heard Up the Irons before, but I did not know that until I read that The Beast has become a name for them. Appearing in the titles of compilations and live albums, including Best of the Beast and Visions of the Beast. Now, this is the point in time. My cat's over here asleep. I thought I heard he moving, but he's not. I have to let him out. I'm like shoved in this little tiny corner over here, and I'm like, I can't get up. I got to finish this. All right. Here's where I'm going to recommend some songs. And I was thinking about this morning when I was recommending songs. Songs are number 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And that would be number 2, Children of the Damned, 22 Acacia Avenue, The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. Those are going to be the songs that I'm going to recommend. Let me go sure I got that right again. Number 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8, right? Okay, number 2 is Children of the Damned, 22 Acacia Avenue, The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. But I was thinking about this morning. Beyond recommending these, if you really were just like, I've never listened to Iron Maiden, who is this band? This would be a good album to start with. I think most people would agree with that. But what I would do is I would do it like this. I would block it like this. Hallowed Be Thy Name, Run to the Hills, The Number of the Beast. Those 3. Pick 3 of those to start your list with and listen to it. And go through those 3 first. And then I would block it with Invaders, Children of the Damned. No, actually I would go Children of the Damned and 22 Acacia Avenue would come next. One of those 2. And then, just to give Gangland some love, poor Gangland, so sorry for Gangland, I would start with Gangland, The Prisoner, and Invaders, and listen to it like that. Give Gangland love first before you do the other 2. But of those 3, I would pick one of those 3 and start there. So kind of block it like that. Hope that made sense to you. But anyways, that's kind of what I was saying. Because I feel like Hallowed Be Thy Name, Run to the Hills, The Number of the Beast, those are just iconic Maiden songs. I mean, when I've seen them 3 times in concert, and I'm pretty sure I heard those songs every single time. In fact, The Number of the Beast, they had a gigantic devil that just came up out of the back of the thing. Like the lights went red and the devil was all red. It was really dark and almost, but really, really cool. And I've been thinking about 22 Acacia Avenue recently because there's some stuff in there that maybe hasn't played as well as the years have rolled on. But that's more of a really good redemption arc kind of story with this poor prostitute who kind of is in a bad spot in a bad place. And I think throughout the story, she kind of has a redemption arc. And then she finds someone who actually falls for her and pulls her out of this nightmare scenario where people just treat her like absolute dirt. So, anyways, those are the songs. And what else is next on my list? Is there anything else? Personnel: Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. I've heard him called the Human Air Raid Siren, I think. Vocals: Dave Murray guitar, Adrian Smith guitar, Steve Harris bass guitar, Clive Burr on drums. Additional performer Barry Clayton. Spoken word on the Number of the Beast. That is not Vincent Price, even though it sounds a lot like him. All right, let me drop in here and close out the episode. Basically, if you like what I'm doing here, just find a way to give this thing some love. Wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, just say, how can I champion this podcast? And do it. And then share it with people who love Maiden, just people who love great metal music. Go check out the Audible Ecstasy podcast. Me and my friends who talk about music. We covered this album on there extensively. There's that. What else I got in my notes here? If you're on the podcast side of things and want to head over to YouTube, there's a movie review in haiku for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Part of the reason that inspired this episode. If you've seen The Bone Temple, you know what I'm talking about. So go check that out. There's a link in the show notes. Anything else? I had to watch that segment from The Bone Temple twice. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. All right, I think that's it. Check out my Nightlight Tales collection of short stories on Amazon. I did a story called The Man from the Road. It's loosely based on this song, the song The Number of the Beast. All right, that's it. Take care. Thanks for listening, and be good, and go jam to some Iron Maiden today and just turn that sucker up to 11 and let everybody know how awesome this album is. Take care.